welcome to week 2. I'm going to tell you what we did in class with the Acts and Facts timeline. We had 3 ideas where we raced to complete the timeline. One is just to do the motions with no words as fast as we can. Another is to say the words, and another is to put the timeline cards in order as fast as you can. And you're going to time yourself and see if you can beat your time. So that's something I might do with my kids this week at home. The history song is always great for the history sentence. This week we had the Pilgrims, and we did a couple motions to go with it to help us remember the song. Janae came up with something for Plymouth, which is here and also here, so it's twice, and she did ply mouth. So you're plying your mouth by kind of pulling on the outside of your cheeks. And I thought that was a creative way to remember Plymouth. For signed the Mayflower compact, you could do that, especially because it repeats once in the song, sign the Mayflower compact, and so it's really easy just to stress that part so they won't forget that. With the songs are good and they always start with drums, and so for English I think I'm going to be sticking with the songs at least in class, because they're just catchy and they sound the same, and I really like it when the kids can think of English in the same way and use the same tool to recollect what the definitions were. If you have a better way then please do that. Motions, things like that, or just kind of chanting it usually works. For math, your kids are doing the math facts. Jingle Bells and This Old Man are the tunes for the skip counting songs that you can use as well if they need that. For Latin, I'm continuing to use the pictures, and I try my best to always make sure I pronounce these correctly. If you ever find me doing that wrong, please say something. I know sometimes there's multiple ways as well. This would be et, ut, as in foot, and said. And the way that I did et and is wet sand. Et and sounds remarkably like wet sand. So that's a visual for that. This is a disgusting picture of a foot that I thought would capture their imaginations. And I would threaten them in class with bringing out, oh no, that foot. And so ut sounds like foot. That's the way that I'm myself am remembering to say ut. And then I would refer to the foot, and I'd try to sneak out this picture, and they'd say that foot. So ut means that, as you saw right here. Now we have said and but. And so I picked Miss Clueless right here from the movie. She was the brattiest girl I could think of to find. So I cut out a picture of her, and I'm kind of imagining her saying, but I said, and so I put but there as our clue, and then a picture of her so we can imagine that and think of but and said. But I said. That might help a little bit. For science, we did some motions for this, and I'll show you those real fast. Which bones make up the axial skeleton? Oh wait, I'm doing the wrong thing. Okay, so for that I did an axe, a pretend axe, and I said, which bones make up the axial skeleton? And you can be more dramatic than that, I'm just sick. Crane for cranium, you're already up here, so V for vertebrae. Tickle your ribs, and then make a stern face and hit your sternum. For geography, I wanted to show you how to use what is it? CC Connected, there we go. So here's a screenshot. This is a Kindle Fire. If you have an iPad, it's going to be different. Okay, and so then I looked for a file that I thought was helpful, and I would click on the name right there. And I actually think that this is helpful. With the Kindle Fire, I'm going to go to my downloads, which is where most of my stuff gets sent. And this is U.S. states enlarged. And this is a map that I think is helpful for this week. And so you're looking in geography, week 2, cycle 3, and narrowing down what kind of file you want. Like, do I want a song? Do I want a picture? So the more you get familiar with this, the more time it can save you when you're like, oh my gosh, I have to tell my kids where Vermont is and I have no idea. Julie pointed out that Vermont here and red here, oh, I just did something awesome, looks like a V. So when you see that red state right there, there we go. that is Vermont. It does look like a V more so than the other states. So for me, that was helpful to know to start with Vermont and start with that V right there. For the activities here, mirror images, the kids found challenging, but they did them. One thing you could do at home that I found on maybe Pinterest is get a piece of paper, put a ruler down the middle of it, and whatever you do on the right side, whether it's drawing or putting like a configuration of Legos or little plastic tiles, or I found all kinds of like game pieces and things like that that I could use that were small. Try to make it also on the left, and so it's balanced. And since you have a ruler there, you could also kind of measure and use your oils. The elements of drawing, I can't think right now, the circles and dots and straight lines and so forth. For our science experiment, it was really good. I'm going to include a picture that Mr. Wyckoff drew on our board during class, and it's a really good visual for helping kids understand what is happening when light passes through a concave and a convex lens. There are a lot of applications there that you can find on the internet, and then also looking at the attachment that I'm going to include with that have to do with corrective lenses, magnifying glasses, telescope and microscope lenses, and the lens in your eye as well.